Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of the Toolbox Extra on the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to be right back with this week's guest, but as always, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, these are all companies I used as an AD. They're all great companies. I highly recommend you check them out. So take the next 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our Toolbox Extra guest, and then go and visit these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com, schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. You've heard me say many times, probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Check out their products today. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Snap Raise. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and been disappointed in the results? Well, those days are gone. Go to snapraise.com. We used it at our school with great success, and so will you. Check out their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it, and it's Snap Raise. We want to thank Home Campus. Home Campus is a platform you're going to use every day. Scheduling, rosters, results. I'm telling you, the athletic clearance and eligibility feature alone is a game changer. Go to homecampus.com. Don't forget to mention the podcast to see all the great things they can help you with. Homecampus.com. We want to thank our good friends at Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards for all the teams, for all the events, or show off your school's Hall of Fame, go to their website, take a look at their interactive touchscreen video consoles. You put one of these units in your gym lobby or your main school hallway, it's going to be a magnet. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check out their great products today. We also want to say thank you to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. And our coaches, our student athletes, even our parents just loved the platform. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users, and turn your school into a Huddle school. That's huddle.com. We'd like to thank Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. My assistant AD, along with thousands of others, got his master's through the Ohio program. And here's a cool feature. While you're earning your degree, you're also completing 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We'd like to thank Hometown for their support. Hometown is changing the game in a lot of ways for schools with their suite of solutions that include things like, well, digital ticketing, athletic website construction, fee-free fundraising, and a whole lot more. Whether you're a principal, an AD, even a head coach, Hometown is going to show you how to save time, raise more money, and bring your community together. Go to hometown.com for more information. We want to thank our good friends at Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and let their team turn you into a social media marketing guru. Your school is doing great work, and Gipper's going to show you how to get it out in the community so people can see it. Maybe it's a simple social media post, maybe it's an entire newsletter. Either way, the team at Gipper will have you up and running in no time. It's professional graphic design made easy. Go to Gipper.com to get started. And as always, don't forget to mention the podcast. We want to thank our good friends at Athletic Surveys. At my school, we use surveys for just about everything, for student athletes, for coaches, for parents. And the information that would come back on these surveys was almost always over the top positive. And I'm sure it'll be the same for you. It'll connect you to everybody in your program. You already hear from those squeaky wheels, but the surveys allow you to still hear from them, address their issues before they turn into something big. But having that 98% approval data, it's incredibly valuable, especially when you're visiting with that frustrated parent, maybe your principal, or even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you connect with everybody in your program. It's athleticsurveys.com. Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of the Toolbox Extra with our good friend Randi Viggiano. Longtime listeners will recognize that name. Randi had an interview with us. If you missed it, you need to go back into our archives and check it out. She's also become a regular. She's an assistant principal and the athletic director at Ridgeview High School. That's in Redmond, Oregon. We connected originally a couple years ago when I was out to Oregon for their state conference, had a chance to speak. Just a beautiful conference. And Randi and I hit it off well, and we got her on the podcast. She has a tremendous background. She was a high school counselor, and that's kind of her niche as she shares with us from the counseling perspective, but also a very successful volleyball coach as well. And as I mentioned, now she's the athletic director at Ridgeview High School, and that's in Redmond, Oregon. Randi Viggiano, welcome back to the Educational
Thank
ED podcast.
thank you. Thank you so much. I always love our chances to chat.
Well, for our listeners, we're recording this on September 30th, so it's going to be real timely as you listen to it. Everybody's, hip deep into fall schedules now. Hopefully, the weather is still, let's say, summer-like where you're at. But Randi, what do you have for our listeners on this segment of the Toolbox Extra?
Yeah, thank you. I as fall season for us has kicked off. I have started my student athlete leadership team group. And we have our second meeting tomorrow, which I'm very excited about. But in kind of watching all of my fall sports teams, talking to my student athlete leadership members, I just wanted to kind of bring up the topic of comparison culture and the high levels of anxiety or distrust that our kids come to their playing field with. We had some great discussion at our last meeting a couple weeks ago, and I asked our students, what do you think gets in the way of your team maximizing their ability? Shout out to Mike Nolan at Ida B. Wells for that great question. And listening to the kids partnered up, and then we shared out and some very different kind of array of answers. Kids not working hard, kids not giving it their all, not being focused. And then I switched the question to, what do you think individually gets in the way of you maximizing your ability? And all of a sudden it came up like, I feel so anxious when I'm on the court. I'm so afraid to make a mistake. I'm constantly comparing myself, not even necessarily to others, but comparing myself to myself on how I did last game. And just that struggle to stay really in the present. And as an athletic director, who has a counseling background, that led me to have to schedule some time with my coaches. And so that's going to be my next step, is talking about, when we talk about three-dimensional coaching and that heart and soul, what are we doing to intentionally work on that aspect of our athletes' game? It's big, it's huge. And some of my teams are really struggling right now and wondering if that mental piece is getting in the way.
Yeah, boy, this is a topic that, again, I show my cranky old guy on the front porch now. Um, I think our kids, and I just did a presentation on this a couple weeks ago, and the theme was, kids today, oh, kids today, and the theme was, it's not the kids, it's the parents, and I know there's probably some kids in there too, but are we? And I'm really going out on the extreme here, so bear with me. Um, are we empowering our kids? Are we helping them do better, meet the challenges of living today? Not when I was in high school in 1974, but are we helping them, or are we, I guess, throwing up obstacles for them in our efforts to help them? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think depending on how or if you address it, both. We just got done reading Hurdleisms as a part of our ambassador group by Clint Hurdle, and one of the things he says is like, we got to stop comparing old school and new school. And I think that is a time off entail of, I think it's really important. And those are the conversations I want to have with my coaches is how do we build grit in our athletes? That's one of our core values here at Ridgeview: character, family, and grit. But we have to be intentional about it, right? I think we have to place obstacles in their way and then teach them how to navigate through it, right? Like when I was a volleyball coach and practicing, building my practice plans, I intentionally built really tough things so that the most competitive place that my kids ever played was in their own gym against each other.
Right.
Right. And I think we get away from that. Sometimes, competition is fun and adversity can be fun. And so when we make it an everyday thing and we start to teach our kids how to navigate through that, whether it's, okay, hey, I saw your brain go here. Okay, what's something that we can do? I need you back. I need you back. Right. And getting them so comfortable with all of the different things that can be thrown their way that it's no longer scary. Right. And working through like creating positive identity in our athletes, because you're right. If we allow them to fall victim to that, or we continue to feed into that cycle, we're not helping them build grit or tenacity. But I do think that as coaches and as athletic directors, we have a role in helping our kids build that, just like their parents do.
Right.
Because it is a partnership for sure.
All right. You kind of opened the door a little bit, so I'm going to kick it down and maybe take us off topic here. I think, and again, kudos to you for working with your coaches and doing your student athlete leadership. I mean, that's how it's education, it's coaching. That's what coaches do. I think the coaches with guidance, they get it. Okay. I think the majority of the kids, when you explain it to them now, my coaches would never explain anything back to me back in the day. But I think as you explain it to the kids now, they understand. Okay, yeah, we're building grit. I think, again, talking about parents, it's the parents who are just averse to seeing their child, stumble, fail, be challenged, and they just don't get it because so many more parents in this generation didn't play sports. And so they never came up with that. And so they don't understand it. So here's my question. Okay. How do you, as an AD, as a leader, how do you get your coaches and your kids to help teach the parents? How do you teach the parents this is how it needs to be? They need to be challenged.
I love that. And that's a great segue. So that is the third part of my student athlete leadership team. So first part was working with our coaches to develop what do we want Ridgeview Athletics to be known for? And that's where we came up with those values: character, family, grit. Next phase is now bringing in the student athlete leadership team and helping to define what that means to the kids, right? Because the coaches may have their own definition of what it means, but the kids may have something totally different. Then we're going to bring those two parties together and bring our coaches and my student athlete. I call them SALT, so I'll just refer to them as SALT. It's much easier to say. And my SALT group together, right, and come up with some common language that we use and some common themes. And then the next phase is bringing in the parents. And I want parents to come in and sit and talk to coaches and have real conversations, to talk to our kids and hear A, the struggles, and B, like what they need. If you were to sit down and ask a student athlete what they really need, it is not for their parents to spiral with them. Right? When I come home and I'm mad about playing time, what they need is not for the parent to be like, oh yeah, and so and start talking about the teammates. They know that doesn't help their team culture. They know that doesn't help. But as parents, I think it's really easy, right? You want to support your child. You want to be there for them. You want to show alliance. I am very grateful for my own parents. And I don't know that I appreciated it then, but they never did that with me. Like if they were ever frustrated, I never knew about it. And they would always listen to me, but they would always put it back on me as well. Is like, well, have you done this? Or have you thought about this? Have you had a conversation? Or just listening. And, my mother is is so good at being a positive person, even when I don't want her to be sometimes, but always kind of putting a different spin and making me think about the situation. And that's one of the things I want to challenge our parents to is who do you think you are helping by going down this path of negativity with your kid? And if they say, well, I'm helping my child, okay, talk to me about how, right? And putting those questions back on them and then having them talk, not with their own athlete at first, but with others and hear what that really does to our team culture and to hear from coaches how much of an uphill battle that creates for them.
Oh no, absolutely. And again, I know I'm a generation, probably two generations older than you, but the few times I would complain to my dad at the dinner table, oh, the coach said this, the coach said that, it was always, what are you going to do? Okay. What are you going to do? Talking to me, he wasn't going to do anything. This is your problem. How are you going to fix it? And it was always, hey, go back, work harder, show the coach that, hey, you need to play me more. And usually it wasn't about playing time. It's about something I did wrong. But
And I think those are such like when we talk about, empowering kids and giving them like life skills, sometimes like I talk about this often. Like we tell our kids, I think incorrectly, well, if you work hard, it'll happen. If you just work hard. Well, there are many people in the world that work hard and still struggle, right? And instead I try to reframe it of like, if you work hard, it means that you will be ready if the opportunity presents itself, right? It doesn't mean the opportunity will. It doesn't mean you will get that, right? Like I work really hard. It doesn't mean I'm going to get every job I apply for, right? But it means that if I build enough skills and I work really hard and I build relationships and I continually want to learn and grow, I'm going to have a better opportunity if it arises to get that. And so that's kind of the thing I want, is teaching our kids to reframe that and build that tenacity, build the skill of going to talk to a coach. Reframing that sometimes working hard is just to work hard because it's who you are. That's a character skill to me, is working hard. It's who you are. You're going to work hard no matter if anybody's around because that's just who you are to your core, not because you think it's going to get you something.
now you've been at Ridgeview for a number of years now, and again, you've been building culture, and now you're working with your student athlete leadership program. How have you seen your student athletes over the years, let's say, embrace this and get better, either an individual story or as a group or even as the school culture? Have you seen it grow and develop more grit?
Yeah. Yes. I have. And one of the things is when I look at grit, it doesn't necessarily end in a win. I think I have two examples of that. Like, we have struggled in the last couple years in one of my programs. Numbers have dwindled. The school across town's numbers have grown. It's kind of come like the school to go to right now for that sport. And one of the things that I have seen in that team is the grit to play like all the way through. Like you would not know if they're down by 20 or if they're up by 20. Like it's the grit to like continue to push hard, continue to learn, continue to go at it without even looking at what the score is. And I don't know that was the case originally. I think that has been built over time. I think that's one of the things I've noticed the most is like our kids play hard. And when they don't play hard because they're losing, I hear my coaches address it right away. Right. And talk about, how we're going to move forward and what that looks like and defining it. Then I have an example of, our softball team this year, full of kids, some who are a couple who were experienced softball players and many who had never picked up a softball till they were a freshman in high school. And there was a variety of skill level on that team, but they had grit and they won games in the bottom of the seventh inning, 9-8, right? They're 7, 8, 9 hitters. would come up and have big moments when they're 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe weren't connecting as well. And they won the state championship because they just played for each other and they never gave up ever. And that was, I think, a true sign of, like, especially in our female athletes, like that continuation of, we're going to keep playing. We're down, we're winning. It doesn't matter. We're going to keep playing. And they ended up being the best team in 5A, which is pretty cool.
And again, those are the stories, those are the teams that you just love to be a part of as a coach or as an AD. Anybody can coach that collection of all stars, and, just drop them off at the bus and watch them play. But, it takes a team, and that's the players, that's the coach. And I dare say even the parents, supporting, what a great story. Thanks so much for sharing that. Well, Randy, I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. It's the middle of the week and it's fall sports. If one of our listeners wanted to reach out, pick your brain a little bit more about this or some of your other programs, and listeners, you have a tremendous resource here. What's the best way that they can get a hold of Randi Viggiano?
Probably email. And so my email is on my school website. There are a few Ridgeview High School, so just make sure you look up Ridgeview High School in Redmond, Oregon. But it's randy.viggiano@redmondschools.org. And that's probably the best way. You can also, if it works best, I can give you my phone number when we connect, and we can text or call if that's easier as well.
Oh, no, absolutely. Reach out, shoot her an email. And Randy's also on LinkedIn, if that's a platform you'd like to connect on.
Yeah.
Randy, all the best for the fall. Are we going to see you down in Tampa in December?
Not in Tampa, but I'm hoping that's a goal for 2026.
Okay. Well, if you find some spare time in the spring, you can always come down to the to Florida for our state conference in May. We'll show you a good time.
I love that. That'd be amazing.
Hey, for our listeners, we think you're amazing as well. And just a reminder that we upload the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do Toolbox Extra just about every week and just about every day. We try to share stories and best practices from the world of athletics. So please join us on the next episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Always a great time with Randi Viggiano. Make sure you go back and listen to her original interview and also her other segments. She's done a couple of them for us. Before we go, as always, we're going to give a shout out to our great sponsors. One more time, these were companies I used as an AD, as a coach. They're great companies. That's why they're sponsors. You should be using them too. Let's say thank you to Hometown, whether it's digital ticketing, fundraising, go to hometown.com. Ohio University, if you know someone that's looking for a great master's in athletic administration program and completing NIAAA required courses so you can take that CAA exam, check out Ohio University's online master's in athletic administration. We want to thank Sideline Interactive indoor score tables and video boards. Probably the single best purchase I ever made as an AD was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Home Campus is the official sports administration platform for several states and thousands of ADs. Check out homecampus.com. See what they can do for you and your school. Gipper. Go to gipper.com. They're going to show you how to easily, promote your student athletes, promote your program, promote your entire school. That's gipper.com. Snap Raise. We used it at our school as a fundraiser and had tremendous success. Go to snapraise.com. Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com for more information. And Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Put one of their touchscreen units in your gym lobby. It's going to be a magnet for kids, for coaches, and for sponsors. And Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. If you're not using a survey to take the pulse of your student athletes, your parents, you're really missing out. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.